Welcome, everyone. This is Lemiola Rincatola with the Critical Thinking Child, and we're so excited to bring our first webinar today on parent tips for making math fun and easy at home. We have a special guest today, Jan Ackman, who's going to share some wonderful strategies and a brand new tool that's going to make your life as a parent easier in terms of teaching many of the fundamental mathematical skills that are important for children in preschool, first grade, second grade, and even kindergarten. So thank you for joining us. As we advance to the next slide, I'll just give, for those of you who are maybe joining us and may not be familiar with the Critical Thinking Child, I'll just give you a background about myself. I am an author and educator and the founder of the Critical Thinking Child. My focus is really on providing parents with tools and strategies to be able to be engaged in their child's academic success. So oftentimes we look for different unique tools in the marketplace that are very engaging and very playful, but yet, academically enriching for our children today. And a lot of the tools that I'm able to find, I do incorporate into my Critical Thinking Bootcamp for Kids program that takes place in Chicago, Illinois. So as we look at the next slide, I'm so excited to be able to bring our guest speaker today, and I really want to, without further ado, jump right into her tips and strategies and bring her on board so we can start to talk to Jan Ackman. Jan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Lemmy. I'm so excited to be part of this webinar, and I thank the viewers for taking the time to learn a little bit more about math, how math can be fun at home. Just to start, I'd like to give you just a little bit about my background. I have an MBA, and I worked in marketing communications for a high-tech firm. After we had our 3 children, I realized the importance that excellent teachers had in elementary education. And it inspired me to go back and take some classes in early childhood education. I became a preschool teacher. I then went on to get my master's in education and then taught kindergarten for several years. While I was a teacher, I realized a couple of things. One, if children weren't engaged in the classroom, they really lost interest, and the material that I was covering became difficult for them. However, if they were able to do hands-on activities while learning, it was an incredible difference. And I found this was particularly true in math. If we did things hands-on, concepts and fundamental math concepts seemed to connect. And so I decided to come up with a teaching tool for math, and I wanted to focus on something that all children could relate to, and that I decided was a ball. And being a tennis player, I decided to combine my sport of choice with my passion for education, and I came up with a set of numbered tennis balls called Game Set Math.
That is wonderful, and I believe that's why I met you in California, and I was so intrigued by this game system that we're now seeing on the screen. But before we go further, I just want to share with you some of the top struggles that I often hear from parents who are working with their child at home, and many of the parents are coming back to me and saying that their children, as young as kindergarten, are saying they don't like math or they hate math, and they're really having a big issue with this. I love the fact that your system that you're going to explain and do a live demo for us shortly is very hands-on, because we believe in hands-on learning. But let me share with you some of the top struggles, issues that parents have shared with us, and let's see how your system is going to address those challenges.
Absolutely.
One of the things I hear when children are learning the number sequence is that many of the parents have challenges with going beyond 0 to 10, and many of the students will struggle on the teen numbers, trying to remember 13, 14, 15, etc. And that becomes sort of a roadblock to move them forward. The next issue I hear often is the decade years. trying to help the children count by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and not just counting remotely, but really having the quantity resonate with them, whether that's through pictures or graphics, etc. Another challenge is skip counting. And we know skip counting is a very important skill to be able to count things in sequence and out of sequence. Really shows a mastery of good number sense. And so skip counting by obviously 2, 4, 6, 8, or 5, 10, 15, 20, all of this is very important for base 10 understanding. Last is critical thinking. We really want children to be able to apply critical thinking skills to math and see how that's related. So on this next slide here, I think you're going to jump right into it, Jan, and we're all excited because you're about to give us a live demonstration that's going to address some of these issues that I just talked about. Is that right?
Absolutely. And the slide that you're seeing right now is kind of wrapping up what you had mentioned, those key things that you're looking for and how my game can address those things. But before I get into the live demonstration, I just wanted to cover, and I know you talk about this in your boot camps, Lemmy, the different learning styles of children. And just briefly, we all know that children can be one of four, either a visual learner, a tactile learner, an auditory learner, or a kinesthetic learner. And I just want to point out that Game Set Math addresses all of these with bright, colorful balls. They are soft and fuzzy to the feel, fun to hold and grip. The games use active listening skills. Parents and children work together, talking back and forth, verbalizing. And then finally, kinesthetic. Each game that I'll show you uses action, it's hands-on, uses some hand-eye coordination and movement. And the bottom line of all these games, which my set, the Game Set Math set, includes over 15 games for parents and children. The bottom line is that it makes math very, very fun. So let's begin with a live demonstration.
Oh, great.
Today I'm using the balls from 0 to 10 for the purposes of the demonstration. Again, the set comes from 0 to 20 or 0 to 30, depending on your preference. So let's begin with number sense. As Lemmy mentioned, that's so important. So what I've done here is place the balls on a whiteboard. Now you could do this on a rug with your child, on a table or a desk. And if you use a table or desk, you might want to put a cloth down to keep the balls from moving too much. So what I would do is ask your child to take the numbers in their hands and move them into place. So they're touching, they're connecting, and they're putting the balls in place, getting a feel for how numbers are related to each other. So now I have my numbers in place. This is where you could begin skip counting, as Lemmy mentioned. And you might say to your child, take out the numbers that are skip counting by twos. And so then your child would go ahead and pull out the counting by twos. Maybe then they would take these and put them down and use them to count by twos up to 20 or 30 or beyond. Another game that I wanted to emphasize is skip counting by tens to 100. This is something that is tried and true in education that every kindergartner needs to master. And so I have a game that's called Zero Hero. And so you have your child be the zero hero. The child takes the 0, lines up the balls from 1 to 10 or from 1 to 20 or 1 to 30, whatever you're working on, and you move the 0 with the ball. So we're counting 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on up to 100. And just holding and moving the ball, it's amazing how much fun it is and how they can't wait to be the zero hero and master their 10s to 100. Another game that I wanted to emphasize is something called Give Me 5. And many children, especially kindergarten on up, need to work on math facts, and it needs to be second nature to them, I should say. And I've written a couple of math facts up here for the number 5. So this game is called Give Me 5. And what you're asking your child to do is give you 5 math facts to go with the number 5. So they can come up with, let's say, 5 plus 0, 0 plus 5, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, 4 plus 1. And if they can do that successfully, they can maybe toss the ball into a basket that you choose and make it a little more hands-on, a little more active. As they're doing this, they might pull the balls out and say 4 plus 1. So there's so many different things you can do. Let me mention 2-digit numbers and say take the number 10. Now you need to make 10. Put together combinations for that. All of the balls have numbers printed on them, and there's several games for place value as well, where you take a look at a ball and say, I have 1 10 and 0 1s. What ball is 1 10 and 5 1s? And then they would show you 15. So there's many games to get get the confidence with double-digit numbers and 10s and 1s in place. The final game that I wanted to show you, and this syncs so well with Lemmy's critical thinking child and critical thinking skills, is something called I'm Thinking of a Number. In this case, I have a number between 0 and 10, and I put it in my head. So I'm thinking of a number, and I'm asking you to make a choice. So let's say they say, is your number 5? And I say, no, my number is higher than 5. So then I just move the balls over. The next guess might be 8. And then I might say, no, my number is lower than 8. So as you're doing this, the child has to think in terms of higher than, lower than, equal to, less than, etc. And just by moving it around, they're thinking on their feet, and they're coming up with choices and understanding number sense so much better. And so in this case, to finish up this example, they might say, is your number 7? And I might say, yes, you are correct. And now the child comes up and is in charge and takes a turn. You can also use this saying, I'm thinking of a number with 10s and 1s, with at least 1 10 and some 1s. Or I'm thinking of a number that's counting by 10s or counting by 5s. So you can zero in on whatever concepts you're working on. So that's just a few of the number sense games and the games that I wanted to show. But again, there's over 15 games that come with each set of Game Set Math.
Wow, that's amazing. And just watching you, I've already thought of 5 to 10 different games that I can just make up on my own and even get 2 sets and teach multiplication.
Absolutely, absolutely. The next slide, Lemmy, is something that I wanted to share just from the conference where you and I actually met, and that was from the educational conference out in Santa Clara, California last January. This was the president of the Kindergarten Association, and this is a quote that she had to say about Game Set Math because she was so excited to see this product on the market. I'm not going to take the time to read it now, but I wanted to provide it.
That's right. And we are actually using Game Set Math in our Critical Thinking Boot Camp for kids. And the children are having such a great time, and they're learning faster. They're having longer endurance with the questions. And so I'm really excited that you brought this product to the market. And I guess at this point, you're going to share with us how our members who are reviewing this webinar would be able to get access to this.
Absolutely. This following slide tells you how you can get to. I'm just looking at the slide here. Oh, there we go. Sorry, a little technical difficulty there. How you can purchase Game Set Math. We're offering this through the Critical Thinking Child. We have a set. The set from 0 to 20 is $30 plus shipping and handling. The extended edition are balls numbered from 0 to 30, and that's $40 plus shipping and handling. Again, each set includes the instructions. And there's 2 links here on the screen that you can go directly to and order your set. We'll ship it from Arizona for you.
That's wonderful. So we'll leave this slide up for just a few more minutes. I know our webinar is about to conclude. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Jan. I really want to applaud you for your passion and your genius for creating this Game Set Math system. You could have retired years ago and stayed in sunny Arizona, but you still have the passion to teach children and make it fun and engaging. And like I said, we're having a great time using your system. Typically, we're very selective in the choice of tools we use in our critical thinking boot camp. And this is actually the first time we've done any type of promotion of any tool. So I hope parents do take advantage of this special offer and game, and feel free to be creative in terms of how you're teaching math at home. Ask lots of questions. In looking at the system, it's definitely for preschool through second grade, but if you get 2 sets, you can go into higher mathematics and do division and multiplication. And
Exactly.
the sky's the limit with this. It comes in a nice bag that you can always keep the contents in and put it away and not mix it with the other toys. So this is a wonderful opportunity. So you would go to the links that's on the screen there. And as we advance to the final slide in this webinar, I want to thank all of you who are reviewing this webinar, and for those of you who joined us. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to go to my email address. Please like us on Facebook. You see our Facebook domain there, as well as our Twitter hashtag and our blog with information. So look forward to engaging with all of you, and we look forward to our next webinar. Thank you so much, Jan, for taking the time out. Go in and have a wonderful vacation, and we'll see you next year in 2017.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure, and my best to all of you. Thank you.